What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. We are finishing up Water Week here, and we are on the Dead Road, Elemental Rumble Hard. Let's check it out and see what we want to do. Now, in the current glorious era of the PDS, it makes me wonder if I just do a full stack at each core and don't really worry about a bunch of the other stuff. Of course, we got a sub-objective here that could get destroyed. We got the sub-objective up top that could get dive bombed by some flyers. But let's do it. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl. We're going to start off... I think we'll do a 10 PDS stack on that side. And then another one, like, on this side. Something like that. We'll work off of those Werewolf Commanders. Of course, we're using our Pylons and Werewolf General on those. But let's see what else we can do. So if we do the 10 PDS, I don't think we're going to have enough DU left over for everything that we want. So I think 10 might be a little bit out of the question. Do we start off with 8 maybe? Or you know what? Let's plan for 10. And then I can always sell a couple off if I don't like how things are going. We're going to get a buff beam in here with some diffusion, and then of course we'll get the lovely boost star in as well. And then let's do the same thing over here. So this will put us at, what, 1160, I think, on DU spent. Or no, 1110, I think it will be. We're definitely going to have to sell a couple. We're not going to be able to do everything. Everything that I want to do, anyway. Buff beam. Actually, we're going to be at 1060, so we got a little bit more left over than I thought. I miscalculated because the Werewolf Generals were already down. Alright, so what? We got 190 to work with. Now, we can always split lanes. Let's try to do some of that with some biometric scanners. So why don't we go... let's see what kind of range we get on those. Actually, covers pretty decently. Where do these guys reach to? They reach up in there, so it feels like the start of scanners should be maybe in here. And then the other question is, do I just do this? You know, we could get... well, maybe we can't. The terrain differences are not friendly there. Alright, so do we just put down... Man, it just doesn't like being built there at all. I don't want to go too far back. I mean, we get coverage there. It's not glorious coverage, but it is coverage. Alright, let's check it out over here. These guys are going to go way up here, so we're in pretty good shape here. And in fact, I think we can just do something like that and cover both of it and be fine. And then here we get the double dip area right here, of course. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer just to go something like that. So we ended up having enough DU. We got a water lane over there with the skellies. And then we've got a water lane over here. So we're running out of DU here pretty quickly. But I think we definitely want to prioritize getting an anti-heal down there. And then I've only got 40 left. So, I mean, I could use 2 Frost Strikes just for a little crowd control. I think that might be the way to go. Let's do that. Let's put a Frost Strike there. And we'll put another one like right here. And we'll kind of hope for the best on this side of the map. Now, this map would be way, way better to use my alt on. We have things like, Radiant Critical Power, things like Radiant Power, where I could plug my alt right over here with those buffs and then have a buffer on each stack. But we're going to go ahead and give it a whirl and see how it runs. I am going to actively hero boost on this one because I'm unsure of how this is going to work out. I have not done this map at all on Elemental Rumble. I think it will still shred, but I do have to pay attention to those lanes. I think with the buffs over here, we'll probably be okay on this side of the map. But we will see how it goes. I'm going to prioritize upgrading that stack. That way that, I know that we've got as much power as possible over there. And then I could always go back and forth and, buff wherever we need to buff at the moment. But, additionally, some of these towers are going to hit into that lane as well. So we've got a lot of power sitting here. And if anything gets close, it should be getting hit by both of these stacks. Now, of course, range mobs, we get an errant hex thrower or whatever. It's going to just have its way with everything here. So far so good, really. Things are clearing out quite nicely. Just a lot of density. A lot of mobs coming in over here. I mean, we've got so much right here on these lanes, it wouldn't make sense not to just switch stacks and buff over here for a while. They are all absolutely shredding, though. It's getting the job done decently. All right, and there we go. So wave 1 was pretty chill overall. Since I haven't played this map before, I'm not going to take anything for granted and expect just a PDS steamroll. So I'm going to gather up some mana and get proper upgrades in. We got 1,019. I tell you what, let's just hit both boost RS for this first wave. That gives me a pretty nice amount of crit damage. And some nice little power gains transferred over to my PDS. Yeah, so far so good. I'm going to have to keep an eye out on any of those elites that come rolling in, of course. Luckily, we got one over here. Ideally, we keep them over here where we're watching. I can throw a little knockback or whatever I need to on those guys if that needs to happen. It's getting CC'd by that Frost Strike Zara, but I really need him to get down into range of that scanner. It looks like he's going to be dead before he gets to the scanner. Looks like there's a Draken in there doing some weird things too. I'm going to go ahead and head on over here and buff this stack for a moment. The minimap can be a little deceiving on this map. It looked like enemies were getting really close, and when I come over here, they're not really that close at all. So yeah, we're getting it done. I think just looking at what's coming and deciding what stack to buff is probably the way to go for this one. That Draken is still doing a little dance up inside the spawn there. Throw a few repairs on. And this map is actually going way smoother than I expected it to. Did not think this was going to work out at all. Let's grab the juice that's sitting here. And looking pretty good. Just got to wait for the rest of these mobs to roll on out here. But wave 2 is looking like a success. These last 4 just don't want to die. Was that the Draken there? Or no, the Draken is still in here doing its thing. Which is quite unfortunate because... Oh, there we go. It timed out. Thank God. I was going to say, it was dancing in there pretty much the entire map. Alright, so we got our boost upgraded. Let's just go ahead and hit the buff beam, and then we're going to focus on getting some upgrades in on this stack. And then we'll just continue to buff this one. 368 mobs. Not a terrible amount of mobs on this map, considering it has a bunch of lanes. So they do come out quickly, but they do walk super slowly. And we are not immediately in range. Nice. Another fire commander out of that same lane up top there. Come on out, Mr. Fire Commander. I would move that Frost Drake Aura, but it's at least in range. You know, where the enemies are getting crowd controlled, we can at least put some damage on them. Get a little boost action going over here. I was expecting that sub-objective right there to get pushed a little bit. I was not expecting it to go quite this smoothly. But it seems like pretty much as soon as they get in range of that scanner and they get debuffs, they're just getting shredded. Really, really fast. So that's a good thing. Still 100 plus mobs left. You know, additionally, mainly for the spawn camp value, I thought about building up here instead. If I build up here, of course, it's going to hit those guys and these guys right directly at the spawn. A little rubber band action there. And yet a little bit more. Thanks, servers. Oh, wow. We are all sorts of rubber banding around on this one. Hopefully I'm not going to get disconnected here, but this is feeling super, super bad right now. As far as the connectivity goes. One more left. And there we are. Let's go ahead and round up all the juice again. Oh, we are definitely getting disconnected, I feel like. You see, I can't even pick the mana up here. Or it's a very, very delayed reaction. So something going a little bit off with the servers here as of the recording time of this video. In fact, let me not try to target everything since it's pinning me all around. I'll just spam. Just spam in the ups. Let's check it out over here. Another 150. I think that's good. And there we go. Let's just let it fly again. And just going to start off on this stack again since we've got that stack upgraded. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're going to play DD2 to play with your alt. However, I'm so sick of my alt getting all the drops that I've been trying to stay away from using them a little bit in Elemental Rumble. It's the game's way of laughing at me and handing the drops to my alt instead of my main. So, no alt, you don't have to think about those things. Alright, that commander is just going to get shredded, so I'm just going to come over here and start buffing this stack. We actually don't have that many enemies coming out there. Commander is having a tough time making it down the ramp there. This will be a nice Defender medal reward. If you complete them on hard, of course, you get credit for all three. So I'll get 1,750 medals at the end of completing this map. So not going to put me quite at 10k, but we're getting there. We'll probably actually just blow the medals anyway and get another one of the new shards gilded. We got a Fire Mage commander over here. I mean, I think he's just going to get destroyed. This is a really, really good knockback lane, too. So if anything does get even remotely uppity here, I'll be able to knock him back without any issue. Keep him back in that Frost Strike aura. They're causing a little bit of a roadblock there. You know what? Let's actually do some reverse knockback. Not often you do this, but let's get the enemies down there a little closer. And hopefully get them all blasted here. There we go. Now that Fire Mage is burning. It actually worked really, really well. Let's do it one more time. Let's put him down there a little bit closer. Get him in range of all the things. And then we just got the big slow-moving pack coming out of our closest lane here. They'll burn off. We just have to give them a moment to get their little dance figured out. There's an orc up there now that was doing circles. Alright, well that was much smoother than I expected. Anytime I have split stacks and I don't bring my alt, I'm usually questioning myself, because it's just nice to have that buffer sitting on those stacks. Let's just go ahead and spam once again as far as the upgrades go. And then we'll rinse and repeat. We'll continue to tower boost this side. And then just let this side with all the upgrades do its thing. I have to grab a little bit more mana. Did I leave any sitting? Yeah, I left some sitting here. Little more juice to get that buff beam upgraded again, or repaired. There we go. We got an Earth Commander, but once again, this is another, you know, from this stacks location, we got pretty premium knockback over here. From that stacks location, we got pretty premium knockback on those 2 lanes. So that is quite nice. That is for sure. Ooh, I accidentally turned on my aura. Oops. Let's get a little of our mana regen up here. We can keep our talisman slapping. Still 250 mobs yet left, so it's not over quite yet. But it is getting closer and closer. I haven't grinded any Rumble out since I did that little rant video yesterday. So this is map number 45 for the week. As most of you know, I'm a big fan of hero damage builds, so I do a lot more grinding on Fire Week than I do on Water Week. But of course, I'm not going to deny that the water set is not tremendous for ability power heroes, so eventually I would like to get one of those put together. I've got 1 complete water set on my alt and 3 complete fire sets on my alt. And I have 0 sets on my main for anything. Just about there. As soon as we get a little bit clearer, we'll probably knock a few more enemies forward there. Actually, you know what? We're down to, what, 60-ish mobs left. Bunch of flyers that are all going to get slapped here. Yeah, very, very smooth sailing. That is for sure. And we got a daily complete in there as well. So that should put... Oh, I won't get the bonuses from those until we actually exit out. And no dice. So 45 maps this week, 0 armor drops. That is just some crazy, crazy bad luck. That is for sure. But anyway, there we go, y'all. That was the Dead Road on Hard Elemental Rumble on this Water Week to get my weekly all finished out. So thanks a ton for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you soon. Take it easy.